and fear never sleeps. Welcome to the world of fear. She thought it was just a dream, but when the walls began to whisper and her name echoed through the silence, she realized ... Some nightmares don't end when you wake up. Tonight, Alyssa's truth will be revealed. Titled The Secret of the Shadows, Alyssa's Final Truth. Genre, shadow horror. Psychological paranormal thriller. Viral level scary story. Setting, Fort Collins, Colorado. Target for viral horror podcast. YouTube narration. Episode 1, The Girl in the Coffee Shop. It was a cold evening in Fort Collins, Colorado, when I stepped into an old coffee shop. Life had grown colorless and lonely. I was 24, living alone in a cramped apartment, searching for anything to feel alive. That's when I saw her. She sat alone, completely still, as if time had paused around her. Her name was Alyssa. There was something magnetic about her, calm voice, sad eyes, and a silence that didn't feel empty but haunted. We talked for the first time, but when she laughed, it didn't sound joyful. It felt hollow, like wind blowing through a crypt. As we parted that day, I felt a cold sensation crawl down my neck. I turned quickly, but no one was there. Episode 2, The First Shadow. Alyssa and I grew closer. We went for walks, watched movies, the usual, but she never mentioned her past. One night after we left the coffee shop, I noticed a figure across the street. A shadow, not a man, just a form. It stood still, watching us. When I pointed it out, Alyssa only whispered, "Don't look at them. They'll look back." I chuckled nervously, but her face stayed cold. At night, I got home and saw the same shadow standing silently on my balcony. When I opened the door, it vanished, but the air inside felt like it had been touched by death. Episode 3, The Window That Opens Itself. My apartment's window became a mystery. I lock it every night, yet find it wide open every morning. One night, I stayed up to watch. At exactly 3:33 a.m., a freezing wind blew in and the window creaked open on its own. No one outside, but there, on the glass, was a black handprint. In my dream that night, I saw Alyssa outside the window. "I never come alone," she said. "The shadows follow me." When I woke, the same handprint was smeared across my wall, and Alyssa wasn't answering her phone. Episode 4, Her Past Life. I finally asked Alyssa about her past. "I don't have one," she said. "Only shadows." Then she took me to a house outside town, abandoned and burned halfway down. "This was my home," she whispered. "I died here. Once." I laughed. She didn't. "Sometimes the body lives," she said, "but the soul is taken." Mine was. Yours will be too. That night, I couldn't sleep. Outside my door, I heard faint knocking, followed by whispering. "He's almost ready," someone said. But when I checked, the hallway was... Episode 5, The Mirror Crack. My bathroom mirror started acting strange. I caught glimpses of a different reflection, a face like mine, but the eyes were black and soulless. One morning, it cracked down the middle without a sound. Behind the glass, scrawled in something red, were the words, "The shadow is inside." Alyssa saw it and said, "Never stare too long. Mirrors are doors." For that day, my own shadow began moving differently, like it didn't belong to me anymore. Episode 6, The Room That Should Stay Closed. There was a storage room in my apartment that always stayed locked. One night, while Alyssa was staying over, it creaked open at 3 a.m. I crept toward it. Inside, just darkness. Then I saw it. A shadow crouched in the corner. It didn't move, didn't breathe. Alyssa walked in calm. "They're waking up," she said. "If you let them out, they'll never go back." That night, I didn't sleep. The room door shook for hours, as if something wanted out. Episode 7, The Invisible Friend. Alyssa never talked about her friends or family. When I asked, she said they're either gone or shadows now. I thought she was joking. One night, I heard footsteps in my apartment, but saw no one. A chair slid across the floor and stopped at my table. Alyssa walked in and calmly said, "He likes you." She stared at the chair as if someone was there. I felt a chill crawl over my skin, because I think someone really was. Episode 8, The Graveyard on the Hill. Alyssa took me to a graveyard outside town. No signs, no names, just earth and wine. "This is where shadows rest. Until they don't," she said. We stood before one grave with no writing, just a black symbol burned into the stone. "This was mine," she whispered. Before they pulled me back, she touched the soil, and I swear it moved. A low breath came from beneath, and I heard my name spoken in a voice that wasn't hers. I tried to leave, but something cold held my feet in place. Episode 9, The Book of Blood. Alyssa had a black book she never let me touch. One night, while she slept, I opened it. Inside were names written in blood. The first name was mine. Reed Martin, death, June 24th, 3:33 a.m. I turned the page, a shadowy figure drawn in ink. It had my face. Behind it stood Alyssa, grinning. I slammed it shut, but now the book haunted my dreams. Every night, it opened by itself, repeating the same time, the same death, as if it had already happened. Episode 10, 3:33 a.m. My clock froze at 3:33 a.m. every night. That's when the air would go dead cold and I'd see a shadow at my window, slowly walking to my door. One night, I opened it. No one was there, just a book on the floor, open again. Time is over, it read. The body is ours. Alyssa appeared behind me. Can't stop what's already entered, she said. Her voice wasn't human anymore. It echoed deeper like someone else was speaking through her. Episode 11, Inside Me. Each night, I dreamed of leaving my body and something else crawling in. A shadow wearing my face, my smile. When I'd wake up, the mirror would show me, but the reflection blinked out of sync. Friends said my eyes looked different. I recorded myself in the mirror. When I watched it back, my reflection smiled while I stood still. Wasn't me anymore. Something else was living behind my eyes. Episode 12, The Final Night. Alyssa said, tonight is your last night. You can run, but they'll follow. I did run through alleys, empty streets, shadows moving faster than I could. Every light blinked out. Every window was black. I checked my phone. A live stream was running. It showed my room, but I was still there. Something sat on my bed wearing my face. It looked up and smiled. I screamed, but no sound came out. Alyssa's laughter echoed from every corner of the sky. Episode 30, Waking in the Grave. I woke up in a wooden box, buried alive. Dirt pressed against every wall. A faint light appeared. Alyssa's face emerged above. You're dead, she said, but they keep you breathing, just long enough to trap others. She pressed her finger to my forehead. My memories vanished. Wasn't Reed anymore. I was a shadow, and above me, someone else was walking into the same trap. Episode 14, Alyssa's real face. I see her now in every city. She wears different faces, sits in different cafes. She lures in someone new, a lonely soul looking for love. I walk with her now, a shadow that drags the next body to the grave. Alyssa was never human. She was always a spirit of darkness. She feeds on the living to keep the dead moving. She doesn't speak anymore. She just points and we go. Episode 15, you're next. If you've listened this far, it's too late. The shadows are watching. Maybe you feel cold now. Maybe your phone screen dimmed just slightly. Alyssa is in your town. She's sitting quietly in a coffee shop waiting. If you meet her eyes, you'll see the darkness too. And once she smiles, your name goes into the book, because the story never ends. It just waits for you.